Historically, meditation was associated with spiritual and mystical practices, confined to monasteries and temples. Today, however, meditation has robustly emerged in the scientific landscape, being recognized not as a ritual, but rather as a training of attention and awareness. In essence, to meditate is the capacity to direct and sustain focus on an object, such as the breath or a bodily sensation, and to gently return to it whenever the mind wanders. The rise of meditation as a tool for health and well-being is due, in large part, to the work of pioneering neuroscientists, such as Richard Davidson from the University of Wisconsin, who utilized advanced technologies like functional magnetic resonance imaging (fMRI) to map the brain changes caused by the practice. What was once belief has now been proven in the lab. The brain transforms under the effect of meditation. In a world marked by the epidemic of chronic stress, meditation becomes a vital health tool. The fast-paced life, constant notifications, and social pressures keep our body in a constant state of alert, known as fight or flight. Meditation is the necessary physiological counterpoint, the switch that allows us to access the rest and repair system. In this definitive guide, we will unravel this silent revolution, exploring the mechanisms that transform health. We will journey through the benefits, starting with the structural transformation of the brain, moving through the deactivation of the stress machine, diving into systemic physical gains, and finally, understanding how meditation is the key to dealing with the mental health storm and optimizing longevity. 2. The transforming brain, neuroplasticity and structure. The central discovery of modern neuroscience is the principle of neuroplasticity, the idea that the brain is not a fixed structure, but rather a dynamic organ that continuously remodels itself based on our experiences and mental habits. Meditation, being a deliberate and repeated mental experience, is one of the most powerful stimuli for reorganizing neural networks. The most significant impact of meditation is observed in the prefrontal cortex, PFC, the part of the brain located right behind the forehead. The PFC is the seat of executive functions: planning, decision-making, working memory, and, crucially, emotional regulation and attention. fMRI studies show that regular meditation, even over short periods, increases the gray matter density in this region. The practical result is an individual with a greater ability to sustain focus, think clearly under pressure, and demonstrate less impulsivity in their reactions. Essentially, meditation strengthens the muscle of reason over emotion. In contrast, meditation works to decrease the amygdala, the processing center for fear, anxiety, and reactive emotions. The amygdala is responsible for sounding the emergency alarm in our brain. Regular meditation practitioners demonstrate a reduction in amygdala volume. This does not mean they do not feel fear, but rather that the intensity and duration of the response to fear or stress are significantly smaller. The meditation practitioner reacts less automatically, gaining a precious space of time to choose a more thoughtful and effective response to life's challenges. On a more subtle level, meditation influences the brain's electrical rhythm, manifested in brain waves. During the practice of relaxation and gentle focus, the mind increases the production of alpha waves, which are linked to states of calm and passive relaxation. More experienced meditators, in turn, demonstrate an increase in theta waves activity in the frontal cortex. These waves are associated with deep states of relaxation, creativity, and memory. This increase in theta activity suggests that meditation not only calms but also accesses and integrates information in ways that are not possible in the everyday state of alertness. Furthermore, meditation offers protection to the hippocampus, a structure crucial for the formation of new memories and learning. Chronic stress has a neurotoxic effect, leading to hippocampal atrophy. Meditation, by reducing cortisol, helps to protect and, in some cases, increase the volume of the hippocampus, combating cognitive decline related to age and prolonged stress exposure. The practice, therefore, not only improves current cognitive function but also preserves it for the future. 3. The stress machine, the effect on the HPA axis and cortisol. Stress is not just a feeling, it is a survival mechanism encoded in the brain and body, known as the HPA axis, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal. When we perceive a threat, the hypothalamus signals the pituitary, which signals the adrenal glands to release cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Cortisol increases blood sugar, blood pressure, and prepares the body for fight or flight. In the modern world, the threat is not a predator, but rather a deadline or a notification. The problem is that the HPA axis is activated repeatedly, remaining in a state of overload, leading to adrenal fatigue and systemic dysfunction. Meditation acts as a deliberate brake on this system. By focusing attention on the breath and calming the nervous system, it restores the sensitivity of the HPA axis, allowing the body to return to the state of rest, parasympathetic, more quickly and efficiently. The most palpable consequence of this is the reduction of cortisol. Chronic cortisol excess is profoundly destructive. It is linked to the accumulation of visceral fat, the most dangerous fat that deposits around the organs, weakens the immune system and dysregulates blood sugar. By reducing basal cortisol levels, meditation acts as a metabolic detoxifier, alleviating the body of these burdens and promoting a less inflamed internal environment. Another crucial benefit is the optimization of cardiac coherence, measured by heart rate variability, HRV. HRV is the time interval between heartbeats. Paradoxically, a high HRV is a marker of health and a flexible, adaptable nervous system. A low HRV is a marker of chronic stress and a predictor of mortality. Meditation, especially slow, diaphragmatic breathing techniques, pranayama, increases HRV. This means the heart and brain work in greater harmony, optimizing the body's ability to adapt and recover from stressful shocks. Finally, meditation helps to silence the default mode network, DMN. The DMN is the brain network that activates when we are mind-wandering, processing thoughts about the past, rumination, and the future, anxiety. The DMN is a voracious consumer of energy. By focusing attention on the breath or a mantra, meditation calms this network, reducing rumination and the creation of unnecessary stressful scenarios. This frees up mental energy and promotes a state of presence that is inherently calmer and more efficient. For systemic physical health, benefits from the body to the DNA. The benefits of meditation transcend the mind, manifesting in profound transformations in the body and even at the molecular level of DNA. One of the most exciting findings is linked to telomeres. Telomeres are the protective caps on the ends of our DNA. Their shortening is a direct marker of biological aging. Chronic stress accelerates this shortening. However, studies suggest that mindfulness and contemplative practices can increase the activity of the telomerase enzyme, which is responsible for protecting and, in theory, rebuilding telomeres. This implies that meditation can literally slow down the biological clock, protecting cells against senescence, aging. Regarding immune function, meditation acts as a modulator. Chronic stress and high cortisol suppress the immune response. By reversing this process, meditation strengthens the body's defense system. Research has shown that individuals who practice meditation develop more antibodies in response to vaccines, such as the flu shot, indicating a more robust immune response. Furthermore, regular practice is associated with lower levels of inflammatory cytokines, helping the body to combat silent inflammation, the root of many chronic diseases. For cardiovascular health, meditation is a potent ally. The activation of the parasympathetic nervous system induced by meditation relaxes blood vessels, vasodilation, which reduces vascular resistance and consequently blood pressure. Transcendental meditation, TM, in particular has been the subject of studies indicating its effectiveness in reducing the risk of heart attack and stroke. It provides the cardiovascular system with a deep rest, reducing the constant strain imposed by stress. Finally, meditation is an effective tool in managing chronic pain. Pain is not just a sensory stimulus, it is a perception. Meditation teaches one to separate the physical sensation from the emotional reaction and associated suffering. The discomfort exists, but I don't need to identify with it. This capacity for decoupling allows the practitioner to perceive the pain with less intensity and less emotional discomfort. Mindfulness has proven effective as a complementary therapy for conditions like fibromyalgia, chronic low back pain, and migraines, by modulating the brain pathways that process pain perception. Meditation and mental health, dealing with the storm. In the field of mental health, meditation is one of the most well-founded interventions. It is the basis of mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, which combines the principles of mindfulness with cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. MBCT is highly effective in preventing relapse and depression. Meditation teaches the patient to observe negative thoughts and emotions not as absolute commands or factual truths, but rather as fleeting mental events. This distancing allows the person not to be dragged into the vicious cycle of rumination, which is the main cause of depressive relapse. The reduction of anxiety and depression symptoms is one of the most widely reported benefits. The mechanisms are multiple. The reduction of the amygdala and cortisol decreases the biological state of alert, while the increase in activity in the prefrontal cortex reinforces the capacity for emotional regulation and planning. Meditation offers an internal refuge, teaching the brain to calm down and find stability even when the external environment is chaotic. Meditation also increases empathy and compassion. The practice of metta-meditation, loving-kindness, which involves directing feelings of kindness toward oneself and others, has been shown to activate brain regions linked to empathy and the processing of positive emotions, such as the angular gyrus. This increase in compassion reduces hostility and aggression, improving social relationships. In a society marked by loneliness and division, meditation offers a path toward greater social connection and collective well-being. Finally, meditation is a powerful sleep regulator. Insomnia is frequently a symptom of mental hyperactivity and rumination at bedtime. Pre-sleep meditation practice calms the parasympathetic nervous system, facilitating the transition from wakefulness to sleep. By turning off the DMN, it allows the body and mind to enter the rest cycle more naturally, improving the quality of deep sleep and aiding in the regulation of melatonin production. 6. Types of meditation and practice. The path to habit. There is no single correct way to meditate. Different styles bring slightly different benefits. The most popular style in the West is mindfulness, attention. The focus is on paying attention to the present moment without judgment. The practitioner can focus on the sensation of breathing, bodily sensations, or even a daily activity, like walking or washing dishes. It is the most effective style for reducing stress and reactivity. Metta meditation, loving kindness, focuses on generating and radiating feelings of kindness. It starts with self-compassion, extends to loved ones, to neutral people, and finally to people with whom one has difficulties. It is ideal for those seeking to increase social connection and combat isolation. Transcendental meditation, TM, involves the silent repetition of a mantra, a Sanskrit word or phrase, to transcend discursive thought and achieve a state of profound rest and relaxation. It is a highly studied style for its effects on reducing blood pressure and improving cognitive performance. The biggest challenge for most people is not the technique but consistency. The science is clear: duration is less important than frequency. The 5-minute rule is an excellent starting point. Starting with just 5 to 10 minutes a day is more realistic and sustainable than trying to force a 30-minute session. To create the habit, it is vital to use a trigger. Link meditation to an already established habit, e.g., meditating immediately after brushing your teeth or having the first cup of coffee. For beginners, the use of guided apps, like Headspace or Calm, can offer the necessary structure and support to train attention until it becomes an innate capacity. Remember, meditation is an exercise. If you're not doing it, you're not getting the gains. 7. Conclusion: the 10-minute a-day investment. The journey through the mechanisms of meditation reveals a remarkable truth. The capacity to heal and optimize our health resides within our own mind, waiting to be trained. Meditation is not an escape from reality, but rather the most practical and powerful investment we can make in our biology. The summary of the silent revolution is clear. Meditation is a mental exercise that restructures the brain, strengthening reason, prefrontal cortex, and decreasing reactivity, amygdala. It shuts down the stress machine, reducing cortisol and optimizing resilience, HRV. And on a physical level, it protects our DNA, telomeres, and strengthens our immunity. Meditation is the preventive medicine for the diseases of modern civilization. It is not a luxury but a physiological necessity. Stress and anxiety cumulatively erode our health, and meditation offers the antidote. The daily 10-minute investment not only alleviates the stress of the present but yields dividends in your capacity for focus, your emotional resilience, and fundamentally, your biological longevity. Start now. Your body and mind will thank you for the space of silence and repair.